everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to my new sub. So thanks everyone for signing on, and then hope you all had a safe and pleasurable 4th of July. Let's talk about what's next for the Boss 302. All right, we've been sitting on parts now for over 2 years, collecting parts and kind of sitting on the camshafts. We got all our head work done. We're gonna share with you those things that are coming up for the Boss soon and what's gonna top off this NA build. But first we want to give you an update on the Tremec install. New learnings, guys, always there's some new learnings. So we found out the piece that goes on first, this collar, it goes on the Tremec trans, and then your throwout bearing. We have the Tilton 6000 series throwout bearing. Well, apparently we could not get enough throwout bearing on the thread. We are at a thread and a half where we were set up to spec is 125 thousandths air gap. That is for the end of the throwout bearing to the distance of the fingers on the clutch. Now apparently all clutches are a little bit different. This is a shallower clutch. This is a McLeod clutch. So therefore we needed a thicker collar. It comes in 2 flavors. So just so you guys know, we got a couple part numbers for you. We talked to Tilton, Tilton Engineering. Their part number is a 62 9,000ths, which is going to get us out at least another 400 thousandths, almost a half an inch more out, so we can get that adjustment to where we need to be on that throwout bearing. The modern driveline part number is a 9,000-3000. That is a supplemental part. So what came with the kit as a kit was this part, which is, I believe, is a Tilton number 62899. Apparently most clutch setups work with this. However, again, with the McLeod Street Extreme clutch that we're using is a little shallower. The clutch fingers are in deeper, which means we need to go out more distance. So again, the part number for modern driveline is MD 9000 3000, and that'll get us out enough, like I said, to get us into those fingers, to get us set up properly. So we should be seeing that part by early next week, and hopefully hopefully all is well. We'll get it back together and we'll be rocking and rolling, and then working on getting the car broken in. So what's coming next for the car after break-in? We're gonna do a dyno. We're gonna just find another dynamometer and see what our numbers are, and then we are gonna get a transmission gears updated by Force Engineering. Tyler is gonna do that for us at Force Engineering. But just for the sake of getting a dyno, once we're broken in, I kind of want to see where that's at. So that's where we're going with a car. So once we get those numbers, and then we'll work on a gear change, and then we're going to work on these new parts. So let's talk about what are these new parts we have. So the Boss racing cams, we've been sitting on those a couple of years. We've been talking about those. So how are they different than what's sitting on the Boss right now, which is a 12 millimeter lift intake on a 260 duration. We will be going to a 263 duration on a 13 millimeter lift camshaft. Now, that shares the same cam as the S550s. Okay, so that is the same cam. The cams in the Gen 3s are the same cams in the GT350s. So those are a 14 millimeter lift, 270 duration. So a little more camshaft, a lot more lift. But that's what's on Gen 3s, Gen 2s, share the same as the Ford Boss racing cams. And then our exhaust cam is completely different, 290 degree duration. So it's gonna hold them cams out much longer. So that's where the Boss is gonna be able to breathe on that exhaust. With the head work that was done, we'll share the flow numbers. So you can see where they smoothed everything out at. They just cleaned it up around the bowls. This is a good one here. We picked up a bunch in the mid area. The intake was at 310 CFM, 500 inch lift, and we picked up to 323. This is on the intake side. So you're gonna see the control is here, the test is here. So stock head is a control, test is the bulwark. Now we are only gonna go out to 500 inch lift because that's where this car maxes at. So as you can see from the get-go, right at 500 or 50 thousandths lift, you got your corrected CFM is 42.8. On the stock head, 52.3, 100 thousandths left, you got 100.5, 113.6 on your test head. And then you have 144.6 to 160 CFM. So that's where we're seeing our biggest flow. And then we continue to increase at 200 inch. Right just a little bit above 10 CFM. And then we get to our 250 thousandths of lift. You got 225.6 and then 238.5. In some flow there. It's consistently doing well, I should say. 300 inch left, 248.8, almost 249. And then you jumped to 266.4, 350, you're at 267, you're 286.7 on the test head. So there are some decent gains in this bulwark. 400 inch left, 286.2, 302.9, and then you got 450, 300.7, and you get 315.5 on the intake. And then ultimately your 500 inch lift. Still, I think we consistently keep it above between 11 and 14 CFM, the stock head. That's on the intake side. So we'll move now those guys, you want more out of your head, 600 inch lift, you're at 336. 550 inch lift, that's a good flow. 330, 318 on the stock. Now the exhaust, we saw some gains down the bottom and mid-range, and then the max or the peak is about not much over stock. Our exhaust, or the controls, 40.8. I mean, from the get-go, we're already, starting at 13 CFM higher. 82.5, 97, that's almost 15 CFM. You make a nice jump here. 126, 137 on the stock head, 152. So as you can see, we've increased our flow every number until we get right about the 450 inch left, well, right before 400 inch. And then we max at about 205 versus 202. Now this is where you can tell these Boss Racing Cam with that long duration is going to help. Now I think it's really going to shine with these heads, to be honest with you. Now what I did was I plotted it on the intake. The blue is control and the green is the test head, and this is in CFM. I wish the numbers were a little bit more detailed, but they are not. You have the numbers, but you can see the flow increase over the stock. Whereas the exhaust valve, again, I think it was right around, where did it kind of start matching? Yeah.
about 300-inch left. Excuse me. Yeah, 300-inch left. So these are the flow numbers. 300 inch, considering we're right around, probably around here, since there is not a scale for that, but you can see we get this gain. This is the gain down low through the mid-range, and then it kind of just converges. So
now the only thing that's done to these Boss heads, these are Boss heads, same heads that are on the car. We had bolt work done. We put in the same valves and Boss valve spring. What else is going on in the car is we got the MMR billet steel oil pump gears, so those will be going on along with all those other mods. And then a light and water pump pulley. This is supposed to add a couple horsepower, but it was already tested. My outfit, they did a video on it, and I can't think of them, but they didn't see any gains in it, and they were out of either South or North Carolina. Actually, it's a pretty good channel, and they know how to set up their dyno to be able to pick up some of these little minor changes. Lastly, we went with a Ford Racing crank gear. Now this gear is 5 times stronger than stock. We don't need to go to a full bullet. We're not running 2,000 horsepower. But this is a part number M6306 M50A. It's a forged gear set. So that is going to get us hopefully to where we want to be. The car is already sitting on per our previous dyno, not the one we just did, but the one previous to that. We got a 448, 449, 2 different dynos. That's where my numbers are. Our car is sitting around 528 horsepower, and we are trying to bump it up to the high 5s, and hopefully we can squeak out a little bit more. I don't know if we're going to get there, but that's what this build is all about, and that's what a lot of my followers have been waiting to see what this car is going to do. But again, we need some new baselines with the car to find out where it's at, and so I can understand this whole last deal with the dynamometer. Now we've gone to a lighter drive shaft with the Tremec. It's shorter and lighter by over 5 pounds than the single drive shaft that was on aluminum Ford Racing. So, you know, I don't know if we're going to pick up anything there, but anytime you can lighten your rotating sunlight, it's a positive. So hopefully we covered everything in this video, guys, and we should be back on track. We'll be you know, going through the break-in on the Tremec and sharing every bit of that with you guys. Now, I've already shared a lot of these issues we had and getting this thing assembled, so hopefully you guys are seeing that. So watch those videos if you're doing a Tremec install. But yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there soon. So guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and have a great day.